Hellmode is absolutely insane for loot. The footage you're seeing right now isn't even 2x chests. However, there is two things standing between you and all of this insane loot. Hundreds of monsters, and the weirdest of all, depth gankers. However, this build can easily kill mobs faster than they spawn, and is mobile enough to give you a really good chance at escaping from any depth ganker. Today, we'll be covering the stat order, progression tips, and finally how to master this build. Of course, this is a more optimized version than the prog, since I realized a way to make it 25% stronger really easily. So if you enjoy this video or find the build useful, make sure to like and subscribe so I know to post more, and join the Discord if you want the build maker link. Also, I will be uploading a dedicated Hellmode guide at 1000 likes or 300 subscribers gained from this video. So if you want to see the general tips to make your Hellmodes even faster, that's what we have to get to. Anyways, let's get into the stat order for the build. For the race on this build, any race works, but Vesperian is the best. For your oath, you want to go Dawnbreaker for the damage it provides. Origin will be Deepbound, purely because it gives you some good PvE QOL, and you actually want to be able to bank your relics when you get them. For your outfit, you'll run Ignition Deep Delver, because this gives you the best resistances, and you can parry unparryable attacks. For your bell, you're either going to run a Corrupted Payback. This was nerfed recently to give you less healing, but it still does a lot of damage and can damage squibos. Or you'll go a Corrupt Sacred Fields, purely to provide damage reduction to your teammates, and you included. For your boons and flaws, as always, the two best are Steadfast and Pact Mule, followed by the two best flaws of Simple and Glutton. Obviously, you can sub out for whatever boons and whatever flaws you like. These are just the best four if you're min-maxing. On the starting screen, you can actually select to go 6 Gale Breath and 5 Frost Draw immediately. However, if you only go 1, you can get an additional talent on the build. I'll show you after though. But immediately you'll go to 20 Willpower for some initial willpower talents, then to 50 Fortitude. This will get you to the finish and Exoskeleton, as well as a good portion of the Bastion talents. Then go to 50 Willpower, then to 30 Strength. This will get you the Berserker talent card that gives you damage reduction when you knock a monster. Then you go to 80 Willpower. From here, what I did was I went to Widow Cave to get Heretic Sutra immediately, purely because you go insane faster with less willpower. Then you go to 100 Fortitude, then 100 Willpower. At this point, depending on what you did with achievements, you may power up to get Brick Wall. Otherwise, you are going to have to go to Shrine of Chance and guarantee the Human Architecture tree to get Brick Wall. Don't worry though, it's basically guaranteed to get through Shrine of Chance. Now you'll go 1 Intelligence and 1 Heavy Weapon. Of course, if you do want more stat points post-Shrine, then you will have to manually unlock Gale Breath and Frost Draw now. I'll show you what the post-Shrine stats look like with and without. So if you start off with the achievements, you'll look like this, but if you manually unlocked them, you'll have 16 points in your strength. These 2 points are pretty important. So from post-Shrine, you'll get 25 Intelligence, then go to 80 Gale Breath, 20 Frost Draw, and then 35 Heavy Weapon. From here, on a good race, you'll end up having 5 investment points, which you can put into Agility to get time to go. However, if you decided to start off with the achievements, you'll have 18 points in strength, and thus 3 points you can't do anything with, so you can just put them back into your Gale Breath. However, for the sake of min-maxing, I'm going to assume you would have manually unlocked the achievements, just so you can get time to go on the build, which gives you a speed boost whenever you kill a monster. For your traits, you'll go 6 Song Chant and 6 Vitality, maximum mantra damage, and maximum health. For your talents, there is quite a few that you want on this build. You'll get Reinforced Armor for the damage reduction. As stated before, you'll get Brick Wall. This just allows you to play Brain Dead against most monsters. You'll get a World Without Song. This will just make it so your Spectres will proc more often. Now you'll get Perfect Flash. This was the talent I didn't get on the build and is crazy good. Instead, I opted to go for Agility for whatever reason. However, going Intelligence allows your mantras to deal 25% more damage when you're at full HP, which is basically always. So whatever footage you see of this build in action, just know I'm 25% weaker than what you'll be. You'll go Wyvern's Claw next, making your mantras deal more damage after an uppercut. Carnivore means you never have to worry about hunger again. Defiance is bugged at the moment, I believe, but when it's fixed, it's free. Now you'll get Fishman, Exoskeleton, and To the Finish for some nice HP and damage reduction talents. Neuroplasticity gives you an extra mantra slot and makes your mantras cheaper to cast. Then you can get Thresher Claws to gain a 5% more pen on your mantras. Now you can get Lose Your Mind and Piercing Will. If you have an Insanity downside bell or are using Heretic Sutra a lot, this will make your mantras deal significantly more damage to whatever you're facing. Now you'll end up grabbing Blood Iron Spirit and Scuba Drowner for 10 HP. Coming down to the talents, you'll get Time to Go. As previously stated, you'll only get this talent if you manually unlock your achievements on a good race. This just makes it far easier to run around in the depths. Then you'll also get Scaredy Cat if you got 5 agility. Because you go in and out of combat so much, it procs really often. Grand Feast means you don't have to worry about blood. Giant Slayer and Underdog basically always proc on the build. Now there is actually an interesting talent synergy on the build. By getting Sunken Predator and Brazen Blow, what Sunken Predator does is it slows whatever mob you attack in the depths, and Brazen Blow gives you hyper armor if you attack a slowed enemy, which happens quite a lot. So you're basically getting free hyper armor every 20 seconds. Next you'll get Nullifying Clarity and Charged Return. These two don't proc all the time, but when they do, that extra M1 damage is very nice. You'll get your Gale Breath Unbounded for free. Then you'll get Aftercut for 10% more damage on your M1s and 5% on the mantras, and Inhale just so you can actually proc Aftercut on your M1s and buff your mantras. Windstep is good for mobility on the build because it gives you a double jump and allows you to leap off any cliff. Uproar, Last Resort, and 11th Hour. These three just work really well together in clutch situations. Old Habits Die Hard and Breathing Exercises are 10 HP. Full Reset gives you significantly more uptime on your Sacred Field, and Berserker gives you 20% damage resistance when you knock an enemy. Ready or Not is proccing all the time because you're going in and out of combat, and Replenishing Knockout is free. If you remember to use it, Ardor Scream is 25% more damage to your mantras, which is absolutely insane for killing whatever you want. Armor Conserver means you'll never have to worry about regenning your armor. Then both the Padded and Steel Scales are free damage reduction. Pocket Bombs is 5 HP. Phantom Step and Apparitions are both more mobility and more damage. You don't actually have to get unfazed on this build. If I'm being honest, you just never go that insane that it's really required. You can get it if you want though. But Magical Resolve will mean that your ether is basically always regenerating faster because you're frequently taking damage in Hellmode. And Warrior's Swing is just reduced damage if you have hyper armor, which as previously stated with Brazen Blow is occurring quite a lot. So this is just free damage reduction. Now I'm just going to add the Oath and quest talents on the build. By no means do you have to get all of these quest talents, but quite a lot of them are innate and do give you passive stat point buffs. Coming over to your mantras, you are going to get Gale Lunge. I'll explain why this is important in a sec. Then you'll get Tornado. This is just a stationary mantra that posture breaks enemies and lets them sit inside it. Then Astral Wind, Gale Punch, and Twisted Kicks are fast, hard-hitting mantras, so very good for shredding through crowds. Blinding Dawn is a huge AoE mantra that does a lot of damage. Now you'll get Wind Passage for mobility and running away, and Glacial Arc. Before I said that Gale Lunge was important, and it's because of Glacial Arc. Simply, these two combined allow you to go really high in the depths. Then you'll just use something like Astral Wind or Wind Passage to cancel your fall damage, allowing you to run from depth gankers pretty easily. Then for your support mantra, it's just going to be Reinforced. At level 4, it has really high uptime, basically never being disabled, and you'll passively gain 3% extra damage and 10% damage reduction, so there's no reason not to run it. For modifying these mantras, you'll put a blue gem on everything except Blinding Dawn and Tornado that'll have a bless, and then you'll only put 3 crystal lenses on Glacial Arc and Wind Passage, and that's all you need to do to modify the mantras. Coming over to your weapon, you are going to get an Adretian Axe, purely because this is a low investment weapon that'll allow you to one-shot squibos. You will be running Astral on it, so you can just go kill the Moon Knights, but purely because Astral doesn't actually increase the PvE damage here, I'm gonna run Grim only for the build maker, just because it shows you the damage you would get with Astral. On a good kit, you should have around 50 DVM, but I have 60 effective DVM because of Echoes. For your rings, you're running a Ring of Casters always, as well as an Ishan's Ring if you're confident in Hellmode. Then you run a willpower and intelligence ring. Then if you aren't running an Ishins, you can run a ring of strength. As you can see, we deal quite a lot of M1 damage. However, realistically, you aren't always proccing all of these damage buffs. Even so, without a lot of them active, you're still dealing over 500 damage to a Squirbo, allowing you to very easily two-shot it with a critical and then M1 while it's still stunned. Coming over to the summary of the build, you're getting a massive 167.5 HP, which is insanely tanky. And this is everything you need to know stat order wise for the Dawnbreaker. There is actually a few sub-versions that I'll include in the Discord, one that doesn't run Brick Wall but actually allows you to get Jet Striker for more mobility, and the other one which allows you to unlock the achievements on the starting screen. So join up if you want to see what those are. Now let's get into everything you need to know to master this PvE build. Mastering the Dawnbreaker comes down to 3 simple things you need to keep in mind. The first is keeping the reinforced buff active. If you don't know, at level 4, you have close to 100% uptime on the mantra, and it gives you 3% extra damage with 10% damage reduction. So you definitely want to have this active at all times. The second is ensuring you're inhaling Gale mantras. Simply because you proc aftercut on your M1s if you've inhaled recently, and it actually makes your mantras stronger. The best thing to inhale is your wind passage, since that'll be modified to make it cost the most ether, and thus inhale will last longer. You'll want to try to inhale between every monster kill if possible. And the third is learning how to effectively run with this build. While I may make Glacial Arcing look easy, you do have to practice your aiming with it, just so you can consistently get it in high pressure situations. Plus, you need to actually know where you're running to. Personally, once you jump down, you can either go forward or you can go back and up to an even higher place. But the main thing is, once you start running, you just don't want to stop until you're out of combat, since you never know if somebody is gonna somehow chase you. You also want to make sure that you're cancelling fall damage with Wind Passage or Astral Wind on this build. Optionally, there is actually a quest talent where you get the Fleetski's Will talent from Etris. If you don't know, this talent allows you to eat Umbral Obsidian to gain a burst of ether. You can eat Umbral in combat to quickly gain your ether back if for whatever reason you're low. There is a somewhat fourth principle you need to keep in mind, and that is how you deal with humanoids. However, every single PvE build struggles with this. The best way to deal with them if they're grouping up too much is just to Wind Passage away and use Tornado. More than likely they'll get posture broken in it, allowing you to quickly burst them down with your other Gale mantras. And that is everything you need to know to master the Dawnbreaker PvE build. This is the best PvE build for both beating Hellmode and running away from depth skankers. Just because Hellmode has a capped time to beat it due to monster spawns, it means that we can spec into further mobility. I have had people asking if this build can be used with the Diluvian, and while it absolutely can be, obviously you're gonna have a better time in Diluvian with a dedicated Diluvian build, and a better time surviving Hellmode with a dedicated Hellmode build. But if you're good, you can do both on either build. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe, and join the Discord for the build maker link. Remember, the dedicated Hellmode guide will be at 1k likes or 300 subscribers gained. Make sure to check out some more PvE content, and I will see you all next time.